At the recent ASEAN summit in Vientiane, Laos, Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. took an uncharacteristically bold stance. Known for his usually reserved demeanor, Marcos Jr. used the international platform to directly confront the escalating tensions in the South China Sea. He addressed China's increasingly assertive behavior head-on, calling for earnest dialogue to find a peaceful resolution to the maritime disputes. Marcos Jr. urged his fellow ASEAN leaders to present a united front against what he described as China's blatant disregard for international law and norms. His speech was far from being just a diplomatic formality. He highlighted the very real and immediate impact of China's actions on the Philippines, citing the ongoing harassment of Filipino fishermen by Chinese vessels and the constant threat to his country's sovereignty. The Philippine president's impassioned call to action resonated deeply with many Southeast Asian nations. These countries have long been caught in the delicate balance of maintaining good relations with China while defending their own territorial claims. However, China's increasingly assertive posture is forcing them to reevaluate their strategies, making Marcos Jr.'s bold confrontation a significant moment in the summit. The normally reserved Ferdinand Marcos Jr. surprised many at the recent ASEAN summit in Vientiane, Laos. He used the platform to directly address the escalating tensions in the South China Sea, particularly China's increasingly assertive behavior. Marcos Jr. called for earnest dialogue with China to find a peaceful resolution to the maritime disputes. He urged his fellow ASEAN leaders to present a united front against what he sees as China's disregard for international law and norms. His plea was not just a diplomatic nicety. Marcos Jr. highlighted the very real impact of China's actions on the Philippines. He cited the ongoing harassment of Filipino fishermen by Chinese vessels and the constant threat to his country's sovereignty. The Philippine president's call to action resonated with many Southeast Asian nations. These countries have long sought to maintain good relations with China while defending their own territorial claims. However, China's increasingly assertive posture is forcing them to reevaluate their strategies. The United States, a key ally to many Southeast Asian nations, has been closely watching the developments in the South China Sea. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken echoed Marcos Jr.'s concerns, condemning China's dangerous and unlawful activities in the region. Blinken reiterated the U.S.'s commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific, a thinly veiled message aimed at countering China's growing influence. The U.S. has been strengthening its alliances in the region, conducting joint military exercises and providing security assistance to Southeast Asian countries. China, however, has remained defiant. Beijing maintains that its claims in the South China Sea are indisputable and accuses the U.S. of interfering in regional affairs. Chinese Premier Li Qiang blamed external forces for the instability in the region, a clear jab at the U.S. The stage is set for a protracted geopolitical struggle. The U.S. and its allies are determined to push back against what they see as Chinese expansionism. China, on the other hand, is equally determined to assert its dominance in a region it considers its own backyard. For over 2 decades, ASEAN and China have been locked in negotiations over a Code of Conduct, or COC, for the South China Sea. This agreement aims to establish clear guidelines for maritime activities, prevent incidents at sea, and provide a mechanism for peacefully resolving disputes. However, progress on the COC has been agonizingly slow. China's reluctance to compromise on its expansive claims and its insistence on excluding external parties from the negotiations have been major stumbling blocks. The lack of a binding and comprehensive COC has created a dangerous vacuum in the South China Sea. Without clear rules of engagement, the risk of miscalculation, accidents, and escalation remains high. The ongoing tensions underscore the urgent need for a meaningful agreement. The COC, if successfully negotiated and implemented, could serve as a crucial framework for managing tensions and preventing conflict in one of the world's most volatile regions. Section 5. Echoes of Empire: A History of Disputes in the South China Sea. The current tensions in the South China Sea are not new. They are rooted in a long and complex history of competing claims and colonial legacies. China's nine-dash-line claim dates back to the 1940s. The Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia and Brunei have their own claims. The Spratly and Paracel Islands are at the heart of the dispute. These islands are believed to hold significant oil and gas reserves. Numerous incidents have occurred, from standoffs to vessel seizures. In 1974, China and Vietnam clashed over the Paracel Islands. China's recent actions, including land reclamation, have increased tensions. Understanding this history is crucial for appreciating the current situation. Section 6. More than just water, the economic and strategic stakes. The South China Sea is much more than just a body of water. It's a vital economic and strategic crossroads, one of the world's busiest shipping lanes, carrying trillions of dollars worth of goods annually. Vast reserves of oil and natural gas add complexity. Beyond economics, it holds immense strategic value. Major powers have a vested interest in maintaining freedom of navigation. International law provides a crucial framework for resolving maritime disputes and ensuring a rules-based order. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, adopted in 1982, governs the world's oceans. It establishes the rights and responsibilities of states in their use of the oceans. In 2013, the Philippines challenged China's actions in the South China Sea. It filed a case at the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague. The tribunal's ruling in 2016 was a landmark victory for the Philippines. China, however, has refused to recognize the tribunal's ruling. Section 8. Charting a course, the future of the South China Sea. The future of the South China Sea remains uncertain. The region sits at the intersection of competing national interests, historical grievances, and geopolitical rivalries. While outright conflict is not inevitable, the risk of miscalculation, accidents, and escalation remains a serious concern. China's rise as a global power is reshaping the geopolitical landscape of the Asia-Pacific region. Its growing economic and military might, coupled with its assertive foreign policy, has unsettled many of its neighbors. The United States, long the dominant power in the region, is grappling with the implications of China's rise. While the US has no territorial claims in the South China Sea, it has a vested interest in maintaining freedom of navigation and upholding a rules-based order. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, plays a crucial role in managing regional tensions. ASEAN has long sought to engage China constructively while upholding the principles of international law and peaceful dispute resolution. Section 9. The Dragon's Shadow, China's ambitions and regional concerns. China's rise as a global power has been nothing short of remarkable. Its economic transformation has lifted millions out of poverty and propelled it to become the world's second-largest economy. At the same time, China has embarked on a significant military modernization program, expanding its naval and air power projection capabilities. China's growing assertiveness in the South China Sea is seen by many as a reflection of its broader geopolitical ambitions. Beijing views the region as its maritime Silk Road, a crucial waterway for its trade and energy security. China's actions have raised concerns among its neighbors and the international community. Many fear that China's ultimate goal is to establish effective control over the South China Sea, potentially jeopardizing the interests of other nations and undermining regional stability. Despite these concerns, it's important to remember that China is not a monolithic entity. There are diverse views within China about the country's foreign policy and its approach to the South China Sea. Section 10. A call for calm, the importance of diplomacy and dialogue. In a region as volatile as the South China Sea, diplomacy and dialogue are essential for managing tensions and preventing conflict. While military posturing and shows of force might grab headlines, they do little to address the underlying issues. The international community must continue to uphold international law, particularly the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, known as UNCLOS, as a cornerstone of maritime order. Respect for the rule of law is essential for ensuring a level playing field and preventing the law of the jungle from prevailing. ASEAN has a crucial role to play in facilitating dialogue and building trust among the claimant states. ASEAN-led mechanisms such as the ASEAN Regional Forum and the East Asia Summit provide important platforms for discussing regional security issues. Ultimately, a lasting solution to the South China Sea disputes will require compromise and accommodation from all parties involved. This will not be easy, given the high stakes and deep-seated mistrust. However, the alternative, a region mired in conflict and instability, is too dangerous to contemplate. Section 11. Stay informed, the South China Sea and the global landscape. The South China Sea dispute is not just a regional issue. It has global implications. As a major maritime crossroads and a potential flashpoint for conflict, the South China Sea is a bellwether for the future of the international order. The actions of China, the United States, and other key players in the region will have a profound impact on the rules, norms, and institutions that govern international relations. The outcome of this geopolitical chess match will shape the global landscape for decades to come. Staying informed about the developments in the South China Sea is crucial for understanding the complexities of international relations, the challenges of a rising China, and the importance of diplomacy and international law in maintaining peace and stability. Interested in learning more about the South China Sea and other critical geopolitical issues? Subscribe to our newsletter for in-depth analysis, expert commentary, and thought-provoking insights. Don't miss out on future explorations and discoveries. Hit subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated with our new content. Your journey of wonder continues with every video. Stay connected and engaged on social media. Continue the conversation, follow us. Thank you for being a part of the Have You Ever Wondered community. Keep wondering, keep discovering. Until next time.